take that from me.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Transparency with D. My last video, I kind of posted my introduction and why I started the channel and my purpose and my why. But today I want to start digging into the topics that I said that we were going to discuss. So today my topic is self-love, because I'm huge on self-love, reminding people that they should love themselves, giving themselves reason to love themselves, and all of the above. So I found that a lot of people think that self-love is just buying yourself stuff or treating yourself to a massage or going out to eat or something like that. And all that stuff is a part of it. But I think the biggest thing we could do on our journey to self-love is forgiving ourselves, and also being able to acknowledge what has hurt you and being able to go ahead and face things that you need to deal with and heal from. Okay, and I'm saying this because, like I said, I'm sharing a lot of my journey. So when I got to this place like, Deandra, why do you hate yourself so bad? What haven't I forgiven myself for? Just all of these things and all of these questions I asked myself because I was in a place where I was just like, why am I still here? Why am I stuck here? Why do I feel like this about myself? And some of the reasons I realized I felt like I wasn't worth anything, or I felt like I was never going to be able to progress, was because of a lot of mistakes that I felt like I made in my past. And so one of the biggest things I harped on and I just held on to for years was I became a teenage parent. So I had my first son when I was 16. And I feel like my family, especially my mom, like she had such high hopes for me because I was an honor roll student. I was like always active. I was always doing stuff. I played like every sport. I tried to be a part of every club I could be in school, but there was still something missing on the inside of me that I felt like I wasn't able to voice, or I felt like I wasn't able to speak out loud about. And that was because I was trying to fill a void from not having my dad there when I was younger like I really wanted. And again, none of anything that I talk about is to bash anybody, because me and my dad have like a great relationship now. We've been good for years, and we were able to talk about some stuff, and both of us were able to share some stuff with each other. So it's nothing to bash my dad, but I was missing that. And so I was searching for that in a guy, and I thought that I found that, but in reality I didn't. So I became a teenage parent, and I did not realize until I was like 25, I'm 31. I did not realize that I was holding on to that until I was 25. Until I really, like I said, when I started my journey, like really developing and learning myself and allowing God to come in my life and be who He is and who He wants to be to us. And I realized I was holding on to that, and I was like, there's no way, because I love my kids. Like, we can love our kids all day, but if there's something we feel like we messed up in, like, we have to go back and deal with that. So that was something that I really had to sit down, I had to deal with. I had to ask myself to forgive myself. I had to just face that was something I really needed to heal from, because I felt like that was a big fail in my life, becoming a teen mother. Another thing was I had to forgive myself for a lot of hurtful things that I said to people in my past. Like, I talk a lot to people about my mouth. Like, my mouth was like fire. Like, I could say something to somebody and I would know it's like the most hurtful thing in the world, but I would not care. Like, it was like, oh, well, you shouldn't have made me upset. And, oh, well, like, I said it and what? And so I think another thing in the journey of discovering yourself and really learning to love yourself is holding yourself accountable. We don't like to hold ourselves accountable for stuff because it's so much easier for us to like just put it off on somebody else. And you're the reason I did this. You're the reason I have a nasty attitude. You're the reason I said those hurtful things to you. But in reality, no one should have that much control over you. So I really feel like us holding ourselves accountable is a part of really learning to love ourselves, because it's just like if we love our children and we see them doing something wrong, we love them so much that we're going to correct them. So we have to love ourselves so much that we even get to a place where we correct ourselves. So forgiving yourself, holding yourself accountable, all those are parts of your self-love journey. I do feel like loving yourself, yes, it's okay to date yourself. Like I would, when I first started, really like digging, like I said, digging into who I am, wanting to learn myself, wanting to learn and forgive myself for all these things that I felt like was holding me hostage. I took myself out. I took myself on lunch dates. I took myself on dinner dates. I took myself on movie dates. And I would feel like weird. It would be like, why am I going out by myself? Like it feel weird. I need people here with me. But I realized that I didn't, because I was okay with myself. I was okay with spending time with myself. I was okay with trying to figure out and learn and discover who is D, like who is D? Because I didn't know, because my identity was wrapped up in other people. My identity was wrapped up in what I did for people. So I didn't really understand who I was. So yes, it's okay to date yourself. It's okay to treat yourself to stuff, all of that. But you have to forgive yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable for your actions, because again, you don't start this journey and then you don't make any more mistakes. It does not work like that. You're going to have days where you're like, you know what? I give up. I'm just going to remain this negative Nancy person that I am. I'm going to remain this nasty Nancy. Like, I'm just going to stay here. But it's like, no, you have to push yourself to still go after that life you want and still be able to experience that love that you want for yourself. Excuse the number. Okay, keep talking. So I think for me too, like really digging into the word of God, like number one, that was number one for me. So it is a number. That was number one for me. Really digging into the word of God and learning who he says that I am and how much that he loves me. And if I'm a part of him, then I should love him so much that I love myself, because I should love what he created. And so number one for me definitely is digging into the word of God and really discovering what he says about me, who he says I am. And so that was huge for me because did I just say because 2 times? Y'all forgive me. So I grew up in church. Like my great grandmother was assistant pastor of a church. So it was kind of like, I feel like we went to church like every night of the week, because we would be at my grandmother's like while my mom was at school and work and all that stuff. And then my mom would come pick us up later, like when she got off or whatever. But I felt like we had a service every night. And I would be like, can we take a break? So I would always tell people, I grew up in church, I grew up in church, I grew up in church. And I hear a lot of people say that, but it's like, you grew up in church, but did you grow in God? Like, do you really have a relationship with him? Or do you just use the fact that you grew up in church to kind of weigh out everything else that you really don't have a relationship with him? And I feel like for a lot of us that did grow up in church, that's like a camouflage. And I'm just going to keep it real. I feel like you could just easily say like, oh, I grew up in church, and then okay, but what else happened? What's next? What's after that? And so I feel like a lot of us use that as a camouflage, because I did for so long. I would be like, oh, I grew up in church. And then 5 minutes later, I'm somewhere like cussing somebody out. I'm somewhere tearing another woman down. I'm somewhere saying just like horrific stuff to people. But it's like, okay, you grew up in church, but you don't have a relationship with God. And I really did not have a relationship with God, because I was out here living young, wild, and free, and didn't think anything of it, because long as I was in church on Sunday, what was next? I could live how I want to live all week, and then long as I'm in church Sunday, because it was a norm for me, as long as I'm in church Sunday, I'm good. I might miss a Sunday here and there, I might miss 2 in a row, but I'm gonna be like, oh, I need to be in church because something feels off. And so I feel like that's a part of our self-love journey, like getting to know who God says we are, who we are, and really learning to really, really, really love yourself. For so long, I talked to people about how I felt like I needed lashes, long hair. I was never really a makeup person, but like to each his own. I think makeup is like, I like when people have the looks, like it's beautiful. I'll sit there and watch it on Instagram and stuff like that, but that's just never been my, my thing. And so it's not knocking anybody who wears it or anything like that. I just never been a makeup person. So I talk about again how lashes and long hair and the way that I would dress would be the only way I could feel beautiful. There would be no way on God's green earth that you would be able to catch me how I am now. Number one, with my natural hair, which I love now. Number two, no lashes. I might put them on every now and then, but that's now and again, but that's only if I really want to, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm feeling it. Number three, my eyebrows look a hot mess right now, so we're gonna have to take care of that. And it would just be no way, because I felt like I needed all those things to make me feel good about me, but in reality I didn't. Like I just had to really learn and be able to embrace who I am. And so my mouth, again, I used to use my mouth to really hurt people, to really tear people down, but I was never able to voice how I feel to people. So another thing for me in really learning to love myself was being okay with telling somebody when they hurt me, being okay to tell somebody when I'm not comfortable with something, being okay to tell somebody how I'm really feeling. And for me, that was a part of my journey, because my mouth was shut for so long. Like I would just deal with stuff silently and not say anything. And I had all this stuff inside of me I needed to talk about, and I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how. So I felt like the best way to deal with it was just to be quiet and continue on how I have. But gaining my voice was a part of my journey. Like really being okay with saying, okay, this is how I feel, and I can't deal with you keep doing that to me, or what have you. Like, so for me, I will never lose my voice. Now, when I first started coming to a place where I was ready to voice how I was feeling, of course my delivery was horrible, okay? Because my delivery still had like a little bit of attitude and a little bit of spice to it, but I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And it was like, okay, Deandra, okay, God, I need you to give me a better way to be able to sit down and tell somebody how I feel. So gaining my voice for me, holding myself accountable, really digging into God's word, learning who he says that I am, learning to love all that he has created, like every inch of me. Another thing I struggled with for a really long time was I was a dark-skinned female. So, at the time when I was growing up, like light skin was in, so I used to be self-conscious about my skin color, like thinking, oh, I'm dark skinned, I'm not that pretty, which I think that's something a lot of people still struggle with now. Me and a friend were just talking about that yesterday. It's something that I did struggle with. And so now I'm learning that my skin is beautiful. Like I love my skin. Like I got a few little things going on, but I love my skin color. Like I love my skin color. I love my natural hair. Like I love all this stuff. And even now my nails aren't done. I need to go back and get them done. But there was no way you was going to catch me without all this stuff, without all these things done. Okay, I got it out. Because I felt like those things made me. They made me be beautiful for the day. But in reality, no. Like my personality, the way I carry myself makes me beautiful. My heart, the way I'm allowing God to come in and clean me up is what makes me beautiful. And I beat myself up about a lot of stuff, and I realized that really loving yourself is more than just buying yourself stuff. It's more than just taking yourself places. It's more than just putting on a facade, saying that you really love yourself, but in reality you don't. And I think it's okay. And a lot of young women, a lot of young ladies struggle with that because of the society that we live in. Your butt has to be a certain size. Your hips need to stick out far enough. Your dress have to be the shortest at the event, party, whatever. And you have to have the longest inches, and you have to have the best mink eyelashes on, and you have to have the best stiletto nails to be the baddest chick wherever. And that's like, no, it's not, because you can have all those things and then you could be just like a nasty person. You can have the nastiest heart, the nastiest mouth, and it's like, no. We really need to learn what self-love is. And I feel like even more people, everybody's journey is different. So for me, I said that learning to be able to voice how I feel was a part of my self-love journey, and really discovering me and things of that nature. For somebody else, it may be something totally opposite, and that's okay. Us growing is not a competition. It's not a competition. And I really want women and young ladies to step outside of that. We're not in competition. And we all come together like, oh my goodness, y'all, do you know how great we will be? Okay, we will be the bomb.com. But we're too busy having to tear each other down to make ourselves feel better. And that's not self-love. That's not loving yourself. That's having to tear somebody else down to make you feel good about yourself. So that's when you need to step back and you need to take what's the word I'm looking for? You need to do a self-check, okay? You need to check yourself and say, why am I like this? Why do I feel like I need to tear the next person down to make me feel better about myself? Because it's not cool. I'm telling y'all this because I did it for years. I'm so serious. Like, my aunt, a couple of my close friends' cousins, it was so deep, and they know I share this a lot. It was so deep with my mouth that when they would be on the phone or texting somebody, arguing or somewhere arguing with somebody, like, y'all, they would call me, okay? They would call me and be like, D, they said so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. What do I say back? And I'd be like, tell them, blah, 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 blah. Like, I was like the comeback queen, okay? I could say some stuff and you would be like, I really want to slap her down for what she said because I did not care. But now my heart for people and the way I care about people, it just hurts me. Like, I got in, again, I said I was going to be transparent and I was going to be honest about everything because that's just me. And I'm human and I understand that I'm human, so I don't beat myself up when I fail anymore. I just go to God, I ask him to forgive me. If I have to go to somebody else and ask for forgiveness, that's what I do. So probably about 2 months ago, I'm not going to say any names, I'm not going to say any relations, but me and somebody got into a disagreement. And, you know, I kept trying to brush it off, but it's like it just kept going, it kept going, it kept going. I'm like, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. And I said something to the person, and it was not nothing like harsh, no, you know, bad, calling nobody out their names or anything like that. But I said something relating to the situation, and conversation ended, long story short. And after that, I had to go back to that person because God was really dealing with me, and I felt so convicted because I'm like, Deandra, your objective is to say something that will uplift people, and what you just said to that person in this situation is not something that will uplift them. So I literally text that person and said, I apologize for saying blah, 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 and that's not, you know, that's not what I want to do to people. I don't want to say anything. If you're already in a crazy situation, I don't want to say anything that can hurt you or negatively affect you or make you give up, because I've been there too. So I apologized to that person and I asked God to forgive me, and I kept it moving because you can't stay stuck. That's what I said. Knowing you're going to mess up some days, knowing you're going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. Like, I'm not going to say it's okay because we know what's right and we know what's wrong, but we're still human. We're still human. So just go back to holding yourself accountable and being okay with asking people to forgive you. That's another one. Like, we forgive ourselves, but sometimes pride get in the way, and we can know we did something hurtful, said something hurtful, but we will not go and ask people for their forgiveness. Like, you have to. It's okay to say, I messed up. I said the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing, and I'm sorry. I promise you it's okay. Like, it's fine. Just ask somebody to forgive you if you hurt them. Like, I promise you it's okay. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to share about self-love, discovering yourself. And I just want people, not even just women and young ladies, like, I really want young boys and men, because we have a lot of them, but I stay in my lane because I know who I could connect, because I'm a woman, I was a young lady, so I know I could be completely transparent and honest. I don't deal with men's struggles. I don't deal with young boy struggles. So that's why I try to stay in my lane, but I know that sometimes you can say something to help who you think you can't help. So really learning to forgive yourself and trying to overcome these obstacles, like, it's vital. Like, it's vital for your come up, for your growth, for your self-love journey. Like, I promise y'all, like, when you really dig into yourself and start loving yourself, like, you will learn stuff about yourself that you didn't even know was there. Again, I write spoken word. I'm going to share some stuff on my channel, so stay tuned. I I didn't know, like, I always liked to write, especially when I was in middle school. Like, I wrote, and I used to write poems. You know, when you was in school, you think you're a poet. I used to write stuff like that, and then it kind of faded away. And then when I got in high school, well, 8th grade leading into high school, I hated English. I hated language arts. I hated writing essays. All of that. Like, I did it. Like, I just stopped writing. I was like, this is not gonna work. I would write papers, of course, because that was for a grade. But once I write that paper and get it out my face, I'm good, because I was like, writing is not for me. I don't see how people write books. I don't see how people sit down and write all this stuff. Like, I don't even understand if you don't have to. I love math. I love math. I still love math to this day. But now my love for writing, like, outweighs math any day. And so when I really began my journey, I started journaling a lot. I started writing down my feelings, writing how my day was going, writing things I dealt with, and, you know, things like that. Just writing my feelings, because, like I said, I use writing as a way to release things and, you know, thoughts and stuff like that. And so eventually, over time, like, when I would go back and read, like, some of the stuff I wrote, I was like, DeAndre, that was deep. Like, that sounds good. And so over time, it started turning into something that I did not even imagine that it would turn into. Like, I'm so serious. It started turning into masterpieces, okay? I did not realize your girl was that deep. Like, I be thinking about some deep stuff. But really learning and loving myself. Like, now I love writing. Like, I literally will sit and write for hours and hours and hours and not even feel like I'm drained, like, because I like to do it. And so you will learn and discover things about yourself that you did not even know if you just take that time. Take that time to really get to know you. Take that time to excuse me, stop beating yourself up for stuff that you've done, for mistakes that you feel like you've made. Like, God is just waiting for us to allow him to be who he wants to be in our life. But we fight it so much because society has told us that Jesus is not real, Jesus is not dope, Jesus is not, he can't do all this stuff. Who is he? Where is he? Like, he's there and he's real. And that's something nobody will ever be able to take away from me, because I know what I experienced when I submitted my life to him. Like, I know that he's been dealing with me, because before I really submitted my life to him, I would not even be thinking about being positive. I wouldn't be thinking about uplifting other people. I would not be thinking about encouraging other people. It started the day I said, Lord, I submit everything to you. My issues, my problems, my whatever. Does that mean I don't still face stuff and I don't still deal with stuff and I don't still struggle with stuff and I don't still fall short? No. It's just now there's a peace in that. There's a peace in that, because I know, although something may happen, I may be upset for that moment. Like, I know when I fall on my knees, lay in my bed, whatever it is, and I say, God, I don't know why I'm carrying this. I don't know why I'm trying to deal with this problem, because it's not even mine, it's yours. And I know that my strength is not going to be able to get me through this. And I know that I need you. I need you to handle this problem. And that's what I do. And eventually I'm at peace. I'm still trying to coast through the issue, or I'm still, you know, going about my daily life, but I just trust that he's gonna take care of stuff, because he's done it so many times for me. He's done it so many times. And now that I know that he will do that, I'm not gonna allow anybody to tell me that he can't, because I know that he can. And so again, this day was about self-love. It's something I really wanted to get on here and talk about, and I really wanted to share. And I want to hear some feedback about what someone else's journey may look like. What were some things that you had to overcome, let go of, or what have you, during your journey? Or what are some things you feel like you need to let go of and overcome and deal with, to be able to fully love yourself? Because suicide is at an all-time high, and I feel like if we tap more into this self-love, discovering yourself, allowing God to lead you, people going to counseling. I'm a major advocate for counseling. I may talk about counseling in like every video, because it's okay to go see a therapist. It's okay to go sit down and talk to a counselor. It's okay to have a mentor, to have somebody you can really release this stuff to. Like I tell people all the time, Jesus gave them the power and the strength to go and finish school. Utilize them. They're there. It's okay to talk to them. And so that's my spiel for today. That's my chat. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from some of you, and I would love for y'all to email me. My email and everything will be in the description, and I hope to hear from you all soon. And subscribe to my channel, comment, and like, okay? All right, have a good day.